Hi guys, so today I want to talk about the best team Pakistan can play with the current squad they announced the other day. So at the top we got Sharjeel Khan, really good PSL performances. He scored 105, 64. He also scored a 27 of 14 in a winning run chase. So I think there's literally no other player like him in terms of the strike rate, high strike rate he bats at. The only other option is sort of Fakhri Zaman, but he's been just in horrendous form. Last year, an average of 16. A year before, 2019, he had an average of 6 in T20 cricket, so he's just not a viable option at the moment. We've got Mohammad Rizwan. Even he's just taken his game to another level with he's adapted. He with batting with a very high strike rate. He scored that 89 against New Zealand in December, and even when he was playing like that, scoring 89s high with high strike rates, he was still people saying, "Oh, he starts off too slow." Well, recently he played innings in the PSL where, of the first 29 balls, he scored 54 with a strike rate of 186. So it shows how he's always adapting. He is the best wicket keeper in the world as well. When I think some people underestimate that in I think even in T20 cricket, I think in the longer format people do look at that a lot more. But in T20 cricket, he's taking those catches. He's obviously he's a bit short, which is good for keeping. He's athletic. Unfortunately, Babar Azam will have to drop down one. I think. Pakistan have played two anchors for a while now with Babar and Rizwan, but now Babar will have to drop down to three. Our best batsman, very versatile. He's shown his game how he's upped it. He can bat as an anchor. He can attack when needed. So he'll have to drop down to three, but I think he'll be perfect in that position. But like Virat Kohli, he plays at number three for India. We've got Mohammad Hafiz. In his last 10 matches, he played 10 matches in 2020, the year 2020. He had an average of 83 and a strike rate of 152, a high score of 99 not out. And in the PSL recently, he scored a 73 not out and a 33 not out. He just improved his game in the twilight of his career, the end of his career. He's batting so well, and even though he wasn't in the last series for certain reasons, he'll walk back straight into this team. Now we've got Heather at 5, which is obviously a bit of a strange position. Maybe some of you guys might think, but with Sharjeel opening, I think Heather's best position will be 5. If you followed the PSL, he was batting at 4 and 5 for Peshawar, and he did really well. He came in, faced fewer deliveries, and was really just not slogging it, but had a lot more of a license to just go for play, hit the big sixes, and he did really well. Played some really good innings, and I think I would try him there at 5. He's had a bit of a. If Sharjeel wasn't there, I would open him or play him at 3. But as Sharjeel is there now, I think the best position is dropping down to 5. And number 6, now Pakistan have had a big problem with their number 6 at the moment. They've had Khushdil there, who just showed a lack of the offside. He just can't play the ball on the offside properly. I think if you guys have noticed, a lot of people have been commenting on this, and I think he just does need to do some technical work. A bit like Fahim, his batting wasn't, he had some issues, and he went to see Mohammad Yusuf in the National Academy, and he's come back a better batsman. So maybe he needs to do something similar. We've had Asif Ali in there, who I think he's a really good striker of the ball, but he hasn't showed the what I call batting IQ. Again, for example, a game against South Africa recently, he came in. It was a bit of a few wickets have fallen. It was a bit of a the game was a little bit more in the balance. It was a bit more. It was sort of Pakistan's favour, and it was sort of more in the balance. He came in. It was Shamsi bowling really well. He was taking wickets. He had a low economy. Instead of just batting him out, taking some singles, knowing after his over there were going to be a lot weaker bowlers to come through, some fast bowlers who are struggling on this pitch, he went and tried to hit a 6 when, and it was just horrendous batting. He got caught on the boundary when he didn't need to do that. So he's shown that lack of IQ. I wouldn't mind him in the team if I did see him. I wouldn't be totally against it, but we've got here Danish Aziz I've put in. Young batsman. At T20s, he has a strike of 138. For Sindh, he's finished some games off. He came in out in one game. At one point he came in. I think they were 44 for 7, and he finished the game off. They needed 20 off the last over, and he hit 20 on his own off the last over. I've seen him. He's batted a little bit higher for Sindh, maybe like a 4 and a 5. So we haven't really seen him because he hasn't played in the PSL as yet. He was picked for Karachi, but he hasn't played in the PSL. So we don't haven't I think like most people haven't seen much of him. I followed him for Sindh, but I think give him a try at 6. If it doesn't, maybe it looks like he needs more. Hopefully we can bump him up. Hafiz is getting on. Maybe he can bat at 4 or something like that. But I think you got to give him a good long stretch at 6. You can't do a couple of games. You got to give him a long stretch and just play him every single game. Now we've got Shadab at 7. Similar, he's had injuries. He was ill just before the World Cup in 2019. Didn't play any cricket for a while then. Hasn't played much, obviously, during, those COVID, and he's been injured and whatnot. Had a few issues, but he just needs to play every game. I think with Shadab, he doesn't play Test cricket. They literally need to just make him bowl, bowl, and bowl. And if he can rediscover that form he used to have, I think he'd be such a great asset to Pakistan, especially into the World Cup in India. So we got number 7. So number 8 we got Hassan Ali. Similar thing with him really. I think they should play him like T20s and ODIs. They should just play him all of them. But Test matches hold back. Obviously he is injured, so you don't want to play him too much. So I think as it's a T20, there's a T20 World Cup this year and next year. I think the shorter format they should just play him like pretty much every game if they can, or maybe give him obviously against South Africa for example. We've got 4 T20s. You don't want to play him all 4. Maybe you can play him with 3. But yeah, I think he should. He's been in good form since he came back. Good in the Test matches. Played well in the T20s against South Africa. So that'll be. I think he's definitely a good number 8. Has shown some good batting. Usman Qadir at 8. I think he will be Pakistan's. I think he might even be the leading wicket taker at the World Cup. I think if they pick him, if they continuously pick him in for the team in India, I think he will be the highest wicket taker in the tournament. I'm calling it. I think he's going to be the highest wicket taker. Very little international teams have played him. He's only played against, who's he played? Zimbabwe, I think, and South Africa. That's it. 2 teams, I think. Obviously, we are playing South Africa, New Zealand, England, leading up to it. But he'll be very little. So I think he'll be so lethal in India against the World Cup. Watch out. At number 10, we got Haris Rauf. I think he just needs to. I think he can be. It's his sort of bowling style. He can be hit and miss. I think he needs to just. I think they need to keep playing him and basically sort out. Sort of. Okay, he's played this many games. This many he's played really well. He's taken wickets. He's bowled well at the death at different points. And this many games he's not played well. Are we going to continue with him with this sort of inconsistency? It's hard, but I think they just need to. I think he just needs to play regularly and see what happens. To be honest, but he is good. He bowls quick. We've seen just recently Mark Wood for England. He's bowled with some serious pace against India, and they've struggled, and he's really been successful. So his pace I think will trouble a lot of batsmen. Just the pure pace. Forget about the skill set. But I think he should. If I'm picking my best team, he'd be in there. Now 11 got Shaheen Afridi. Now we're talking about obviously our best team. Shaheen Afridi is one of the best bowlers in the world at the moment, especially in that shorter format T20. I think he could be a star performer in this World Cup. This T20 World Cup, I think. Well, obviously when you have the World Cup, the whole world's watching, so everyone's going to see him and see how good he is. So, but I think he needs rest. I think if you guys saw the series against South Africa, they put a graph up, and he's at this age of 20 years, he's bowled the most amount of overs, but he's bowled like 700 overs, and Rabada, who's number 2, is bowled about 400. So he's bowled not double, but not coming too close to double the amount as Rabada has. So he needs a rest. So these T20s that we got 4 against South Africa, they should just play him like 2 maybe. Just play him 2, and against Zimbabwe, just rest him. Like there's other bowlers there. That's the thing. There's Mohammad Hasnain in there, for example. They've picked other bowlers as well. So they need to. So there's other players there, but they need to rest him because it's just they don't want to make him pull. Before a World Cup get injured or anything like that. So this is my team. What's yours? Comment down below. Which is do you agree? Do you disagree? Which players do you think should be included? What do you think about the squad that got announced? And yeah, make sure you drop your comments below, like the video, share the video, and see you in the next video.